found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
To you I say let's go as we welcome you to the Tuesday edition. Tony Basilio, Brian Hartman's in the house, TGMD on a Tuesday. The great Matt Dixon, who came, saw, and conquered over at tclub.team today. Hey, Matt, we're getting ready to preview on the other side the Auburn series, which is now huge. Was Auburn being ranked ahead of the Vols, Matt, on your Singo card? And do you find the ranking to be just based on what we've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. I think Tennessee's actually 2 games better than Auburn in the standings, but Auburn did sweep LSU at home, I guess 2 weeks ago. But no, I never thought that a team that I think they won 4 league games last year, maybe.
Yep.
I thought they'd turn it around. I didn't know they'd be turning it around this quickly or have this success. But no, it's a little shocking that Tennessee's where they are, especially after the great start in league play. But that's kind of, it's what the norm is in this sport. Even though the last couple of years Tennessee's kind of made it look easy.
Yeah, eventually. And I wonder, Matt, with some of the people that have jumped on the bandwagon later on that don't have the baseball background. I have a baseball background, so I know that eventually you're not going to win 90% of your games in baseball. You're not. It's not Nick Saban football. There's too much variance in the game, too many variables, too many moving parts. Like case in point, Friday night. There's just way too many moving parts. It's a game you should have won, but it's baseball, and it is what it is. I wonder if the casual fan, Matt, that glommed onto this thing for something to win at now looks for something else to do. I wonder what the impact's going to be on that. Have you thought about that? Because it's not making you feel good all of a sudden. It's not making you feel good like it was.
Yeah, I think most fans understand it and realize that. You had the 23 season, they really scuffled through the first half of that year and then finally turned it on. I think with how talented the team is and what they've shown so far, that most fans still view the season as a chance to repeat if you want to go that far. You certainly have the talent to. Mm-hmm. So I think most fans kind of know what they're watching.
So the question from here is, when you look at this ball club, what's the goal from here, Matt? Is the goal to get to 18 and host throughout? Is the goal to get back to Omaha? What's the goal from here?
I think both of those can be the goal and probably should be. I wrote it in the blog, go 5-4 in the league over these last 3 series, which is not a given. Obviously 3 top 15 teams, including a road series at Arkansas where Tennessee's really struggled.
Yes.
But if you go 5-4 down the stretch, you finish 18-12, and that should get you a top 8 national seed, which would put you in line to host a regional and super in Lindsey Nelson, which would put you on the path to Omaha. We've said, I was getting ready to say it's really tough to beat Tennessee here, but that's not been true the last two weekends they've hosted somebody.
Well, you made a really good point that Dr. Danny, because somebody was sharing this with me before you had brought it up, wanted me to talk about it on the air, and I didn't feel comfortable talking about it on the air because I'm not over there all the time. I've been over there a few times this year, 2 or 3 to be specific. You brought up the fact that And you were talking the other day with Will Heflin on our Garza Law extra innings, which will come your way Sunday following the conclusion of the Auburn series. Matt, you were mentioning the fact that they've buried the students. I call it a cattle chute. I say it looks like literally like a crisis situation down the right field line, the way they have the students herded in there. Literally like they're in a third world country. And then when you watch these league games, and the two I went to, Matt, as you get to the fourth and fifth inning, the student section thins out because they've been marginalized and put out there, and who wants to stand there? Versus where they were in the early days of Vitello, where we called the stadium electric and magic, and they got right on top of people. And so I wonder, not everything that counts can be counted. I don't think Danny White agrees with that, but it's true. And I wonder at what cost to the baseball program going forward, unless they amend this, will this have? Because it seems to have muted the home field advantage a little bit, Matt. And it's something you brought up. You're there all the time, so speak to it.
Yeah, it's just I've kind of noticed it all year. There's just not a whole lot of energy in the stadium and excitement. And the students being just so far away from the game, just way down the right field line. And I think they don't even have seats. It's basically
it's a cattle chute.
Basically standing room only.
Yeah, it's a cattle chute. Yeah.
Which is really odd. But you kind of put the students, you take them out of the game. At other places they've countered that by letting bring chairs and sit in the outfields on berms and bring drinks and bring coolers in, and that works really well. Tennessee can't really do that at least right now. But
no,
I just think that the crowd is really tampered down a lot. And what really got me going was that game one at LSU at 2 a.m. There's 6,000 people there going crazy after they score 6 to walk it off. I just thought that crowd was incredible. Given that it was 1 o'clock in the morning local time after a 3-hour delay and a 3-hour game where your team really was not competitive for 8.5 innings.
How much do they love it there? And how big of a compliment is that to Tony Vitello and what he's done, that there were still all those people there screaming and yelling at the end of that deal? Everything about that, even though we lost the game, is kind of worth celebrating, that several thousand people stayed there. And, Matt, that's one thing that was lost to me, is because the announcers that night were like, it's a shame that, the crowd has really thinned out. You could not have told that watching that thing on television. Those people were totally empty. And I think they had an impact on the game, Matt, because when that first error happened, that crowd lifted up that LSU bunch. You could kind of feel it coming, which is what used to happen in our stadium. That's what used to happen in our stadium.
Yeah. The pitcher would grip the ball a little too tight, or a guy would be choking up on the bat a little too much. Yeah, I think that, and that's kind of gone away a little bit. But no, I thought that it does say a lot about where Tennessee's at as a program. You had that kind of crowd for that game, and then the next night you have a record-setting crowd there that was incredible, and that again, that was a really impressive performance by Tennessee to bounce back and win that game and dominate it. But no, it does say a lot, because LSU's the gold standard in college baseball, especially in the SEC. And they're, if you can kind of go toe to toe with them, you can pretty much beat anybody. And Tennessee kind of did that this weekend, even though they lost 2 or 3.
Their fans showed Tennessee the utmost respect. They showed the game a lot of respect, and I respect that. Look, it's 1 o'clock in the morning their time. Those nuts are still, like Matt said, those crazy Cajun people are still in the stands, and he made sure and pointed it out today. We highlighted it because it's accurate. I mean, it's Tennessee needs to get its edge back at home. And they need to figure out something with the students, because what they've done is not acceptable. It's just not. Putting those people in a cattle chute. Look, first of all, you're dealing with a generation of people that's used to creature comforts, and you're jamming them all into a spot, and they're way too far away to affect the game. So you got to come up with something better than that, Dr. Danny. I don't know what you do, but you got to come up with something better than that because this isn't going to work. You're going to take a stadium that was magic and you're going to corporatize it. You don't need to corporatize it. You need to keep the magic there. This is still college sports. It's still college baseball. You need to figure something out. So we take a brief time out and come back with more on the other side right after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
Ward Dumpsters, your local and veteran-owned dumpster rental company, has 12 and 15-yard dumpsters, week-long and weekend specials. House cleaning, remodeling, yard cleanup, or construction, Ward Dumpsters has the dumpster for you. Servicing Blount County, Loudoun County, and Knox County since 2015, go to warddumpsters.com to reserve yours today or give us a call, 865-606-3011.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. Ugh. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner, furnace, or heat pump is a nightmare. But if you need emergency HVAC repairs or need to invest in a new heating and cooling system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. With the seasons changing, be sure to spring forward into savings with Pipe Wrench. This month, when you buy and install a new heating or cooling system, you'll get a new water heater for only $150. Or you can choose to get instant savings towards your new HVAC system equal to the value of the water heater. We also make it easy with free on-site qualified estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer 0% financing with credit approval. We also offer a free 12-year warranty on select HVAC brands, including parts and labor when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit's free.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Portions of your TV show presented by Stinnett Collision, Maryville, and now in Sevierville. For 3 generations and 60 years, serving you online at StinnettCollision.com. T to the B, welcoming you back. It's pretty incredible to be with you today. TGMD driving this train, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great Matt Dixon. He covers Tennessee baseball like a glove and is on with he'll be live with you Sunday when the Tennessee Auburn finale is played, and how that series shakes out. Nobody knows. Tennessee's lost 3 of their last 4 SEC series. Looked better over the weekend, but didn't get the result they were looking for. Brian Matthews now joins. Auburn is having a resurgence here, and Brian's been covering Auburn for a good quarter century. And Brian, you know, it's crazy in college sports these days, as I welcome you in. You can expect the unexpected, and you can expect change. Those are 2 things that we know. Were you expecting, if I would have told you before the season that when Auburn visited Knoxville, they would be in D1 baseball, they would be ranked ahead of Tennessee, would that have ever registered with you, that possibility?
Yeah, probably not. Not the way Tennessee's been playing the last 4 or 5 years, defending national champs there. So, I mean, Tennessee's had a rough couple of weeks, I guess. Auburn has been fairly consistent, been a really good home team, has been swept on the road 2 consecutive weekends, so this will be a big test for them there. But Auburn has definitely taken a step forward after last year.
What do they do well, Auburn at home, that they don't do on the road? If you could point to a few things.
Hello?
If you could point to a few things, what does Auburn not do well on the road that they do at home? What's the difference?
Well, when they went to Texas, I think Texas' pitching was just a step above what Auburn has faced, and they really shut down Auburn's lineup really good. But I think overall it's just the hitting. They tend to chase too many pitches outside the strike zone in the dirt and just don't score as many runs as they normally do at home. So that's been the biggest thing, I think, offensively. One of the standouts for Auburn home and away, although he's better at home, of course, is Sam Dutton, the LSU transfer. He's become the Auburn's Friday night starter. I think he's second or third in the SEC right now in earned run average, so he's having a terrific season. I think he's a junior now. So you guys will see him Friday. He gives Auburn a chance to win every game, but they just haven't given him much run support on the road here, at least the last couple of weekends.
Matt Dixon, jump in here as we are joined on the program by Brian Matthews, who's been covering Auburn for, since 2001, and he's with the rival site. Go ahead, Matt. Jump in here, Matt Dixon.
Yeah, just, going over the lineup, a couple of names that should be familiar with. Ike Irish, Cooper McMurray's there.
Yeah.
They've also got some really talented freshmen that are in the lineup. It seems like it's a really well balanced lineup that really doesn't rely on one guy. But just talk about Auburn's lineup and how 1 through 9 it's pretty formidable.
It is. I don't think they've reached their potential yet. I've sort of been waiting for everybody to sort of start putting it together at the same time. It's been a couple of guys hot this weekend, a couple of guys the next. But you mentioned the freshmen, and Auburn's got 3 really good ones. Chris Rembert has been moved into the leadoff role in the last weekend. He was SEC Player of the Week, not Freshman of the Week, but Player of the Week last week, which is pretty unusual, but he had a terrific weekend against Mississippi State. He's a guy that can hit for average power, just a good-looking freshman, plays second base, just looks like an athlete. If you see him just walking around, you think maybe he plays for the football team, just really put together. And then you got another guy similar, Bub Terrell, plays outfield, got a really quick left-handed bat, beautiful swing. And then Chase Fralick leads the team in hitting, another freshman, and he's a guy that grew up playing tennis. I think his dad was a tennis coach. Just got really, really quick hands. One of those bigger dudes who just, has a really pretty swing. Another left-hander there. So they've been great additions, of course, like Irish, an All-American. Got banged up a few weeks ago, has come back and really heated up here in SEC play, has carried Auburn a few series. And Cooper McMurray is a guy who's a senior. He's hit a bunch of home runs in his Auburn career. Been a little bit of a slow start for him, but he's finally starting to get it going too. I think he had 2 home runs against State last weekend. So I do think this lineup is Auburn's strength. They're a little inconsistent pitching wise behind Sam Dutton, who'll be the Friday night starter. But other than that, you don't know what you're going to get.
And that's kind of tough, right? Yeah, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, just, Butch Thompson's kind of a pitching coach at heart. And one of the unique things about him is he lets his pitchers and catchers call their own games.
Yep.
What's kind of his philosophy behind that? Because I think it's a real advantage when you have, players who can do that. But in today's age, it's a very rare thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think part of it is just his really wanting to sell that development part of Auburn's program and saying, if you come here, we're going to teach you how to call your own pitches and be out there and handle being on the mound, you and the catcher together. So I think that's a big part of it. I just think he likes to put trust in his players, and maybe that's not as pretty as it should be, in March and April, so to speak, or early April, but I think it does help this team once it gets into May and June. So we'll see if we can start seeing that coming around for them. They need some guys to step up. Really, Saturday and Sunday starter have not really been consistent for Auburn. Their bullpen, they got some guys, but no guy that's been the guy. They've got, some guys that'll get hot for a couple of weeks and then they'll kind of get knocked around a little bit. So they're still trying to find some roles back there.
Matt was talking about these guys calling pitches, and that's all well and good, but you've mentioned this a couple times that starting pitching in a few spots, once you get past Friday, has been a little bit mysterious.
Yeah.
Who do you expect they go with on the road? And have they been flip-flopping, or have they been pretty consistent?
They've been pretty consistent going Dutton Friday and Cade Fisher Saturday. But Cade Fisher, I think he just managed an inning against Mississippi State. Really And he had an injury early on. They had to bring him along slowly. I think that was a step back last weekend. So I don't know for sure whether or not they're going to go ahead and throw him out there Saturday. Sunday, they started out throwing Christian Chatterton, a freshman. They moved him to midweek, and they've been throwing Andres Alvarez most of the time on Sundays, although they went with Cam Tilley this past Sunday. My guess is they'll go with Tilley again. He didn't necessarily sparkle, but he got 4 innings, which was not bad considering what Auburn's got out of Sunday for the most part. So we'll probably see him Sunday. I'm just not sure what they're going to do on Saturday yet, if they're going to throw Kate Fisher out there again. He's been the starter every Saturday, but he just really hasn't taken that step forward. He's in a lot of ways he's taken a step back. At least last week he did.
Has he been? Because we've seen this here a little bit. Is it just guys are hitting him? Is he having trouble finding the zone? A little bit of everything. What do you think the issue has been with him?
He leads the team in walks, I believe.
Oh, boy.
So that's definitely been an issue there. And then he's had some issues with his, fastball, getting it up, in the high 80s to 90. Sometimes it gets down in the mid 80s and it gets pounded pretty hard when that happens. He's a lefty. One of those crafty lefty types, right? But you got to be able to have a little pop out of that fastball. We'll see. The one thing Butch has done is he likes to pitch guys and trust them and give them a chance to bounce back when they don't do well. A lot of times, especially early in the season, he'll leave pitchers in maybe longer than the fans want them to, just to see if they can work out of the jams on their own, right? But I think we've reached the point in the season now where they have a much lower patience with some of these guys, and if they're not performing, they're going to make moves.
Hey, Matt, you talked about this on our post game as a prelude to this series, as you guys did a look ahead the other day, and I want to get the thought here of Brian Matthews on this, but your assessment of the head coach at Auburn is down through the years, he gets the absolute most out of his roster. Elaborate that on that if you can, because as I hear Brian talk about them, it sounds like they have one truly really dependable starter in the Southeastern Conference, and yet they're ranked ahead of us coming into this weekend, which speaks to the overall coaching job this guy has done. Matt, elaborate on that if you can, sort of what you said on Sunday, and you wrote it in the blog today as well.
Yeah, I just think when you get to the back half of the SEC season, that Auburn, outside of last year, they're always a better team than whatever their record is. And I think Brian did a good job of explaining it, how, especially with their pitchers, they let them kind of grow into roles and maybe lets them work through things, whereas other coaches and other programs maybe focus on trying to make sure they win as many games as possible. But it seems like Butch Thompson's willing to sacrifice some stuff early in the year to be better late, and that it makes a lot of sense, because I've always thought the teams that he has are always better than their record, and that's shown up. They've got to Omaha a couple of times, and that's you always want to be playing your best ball at the end. What
do you think, Brian?
Oh, I agree. Auburn, both their trips to Omaha, I think they were middle of the pack type SEC teams. Both times they had to go on the road to Oregon State, to North Carolina, and win super regionals. So, those teams do tend to play a lot better late. He does tend to find good pitchers, that develop as the season goes on, and they sort of hit their stride once we get into May and June. So we'll see if that can happen. Now's the time when that should be happening, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But obviously Auburn has not played well on the road here. They're shaking things up a little bit this week. Before, I think they've been leaving early on Thursday and practicing at the wayside. I think they're going to mix it up a little bit this week and practice at home before they leave. Not sure that makes a big difference, but I think they're just trying to break up the routine a little bit.
So they won't arrive till Friday?
I think they'll arrive late Thursday. My guess is they'll probably do a walkthrough just to get a feel for the park and stuff.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So, look, if what you're doing is not working, try something different.
Yep.
And those baseball guys are so, whatever the term is, everybody's got their own little superstitions or whatever it is. Yeah. So, question for you. I'm looking at your Twitter feed, and you're talking about your notebook, and you're talking about the the road to hosting for Auburn. 9 league games left for everybody. Do the math for me. What does Auburn have to do over their final 9?
That's a real interesting question because they are 11-10. That's ninth in the SEC, but they're only 2 games behind Tennessee in fourth. So you can see scenarios where Auburn finishes top 4 or where they drop down, a little bit farther. They've got Tennessee away this weekend, back home against South Carolina, which is certainly a winnable series, then on the road at Ole Miss to finish it up. So 11 wins. Auburn right now has the number 4 RPI in the country, number 1 strength of schedule. So you feel like that's going to be similar if they play decently. So I think for Auburn, get to 14, 15, 16 wins, and you're probably going to at least host a regional that first week in a postseason play. And I think that would be a big goal, a major goal for them, a pretty good achievement for this team coming off a season where I think it was it 6 wins last year in the SEC? I can't remember exactly.
It was that team was tough to watch, man. That was
it was.
Yeah, that was and it was weird. Like we were talking, those guys were talking Sunday. It was weird seeing Auburn that kind of punchless. I guess would be and even at that, the guy gets so much out of his roster. Even at that, it still kind of scares you when you get on the field with him. Anything else you'd care to add that we need to know about the Tigers coming into this weekend?
Well, I just mentioned some more players. Eric Guevara, he missed most of last year's freshman year with a ACL injury. He came back late, did some things, but you can tell he wasn't 100%. This year he's been bothered by a hamstring injury. Finally back healthy, finally swinging the bat. He plays third base. He's a guy that could be hot. Maybe not a lot of people are talking about or thinking of. Maybe he'll have a good series. He's one to watch. And then Cade Ballou, the center fielder, he's at Auburn. He's a hometown kid. If anybody followed the story, his mother died of cancer the morning of opening day. She'd been battling this for a while. It was kind of expected. And she wanted him to play. And he came out that night and he hit a home run, which was just a spectacular thing to see. Just an amazing human story. But he is also separated his shoulder sliding in the second. He's back now. He's probably got the best swing on the team, maybe behind Ike Iris, the top pro prospect as far as position players go, but has not got it going yet. But he's a guy, if he can get his timing down and start driving the ball, he's capable of having like an incredible series. But those are just 2 guys that, maybe don't have the great averages or don't have, great numbers, just to keep an eye on to see if one of them heats up this weekend.
Hey, Brian, if folks want to check in on your work, go ahead and give the plugs and tell folks how they can find you. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate that. They can check us out at auburnsports.com. I follow baseball really closely, put up a nice little notebook this morning. And, of course, we'll have coverage of tonight's game. Auburn's playing, I think it's it's Sanford at the Hoover Met. So they're getting a game there just to get ready for the SEC tournament. And you can follow me on socials at BMattAU. Thank you, my man. Great talking to you. Hey, I appreciate you guys and looking forward to that big series up there.
Yes, sir. Take care. Yeah, you take care as well. And Matt, again, if you would have looked at this thing before the year, you would have known, hey, Auburn comes to your building. It's never a pushover. That's a great name down through the years. Couple of World Series under the current regime you guys have talked about. Always going to hit you with their best shot, but by no means were they supposed to be ranked ahead of you coming into the weekend. And it sounds like they're a different team on the road, Matt, than they are at home. Does that give you hope here?
Yeah, it does. It does. But again, we've talked about how Tennessee's been better on the road than they have been at home this year too. So
it's bizarre.
It's a weird deal, but no, you would think this is one of the weekends where Tennessee kind of puts a stop to this like losing streak and figures out a way to win at least 2 games. So
Tennessee needs to get a sweep here, Matt.
Play well.
Yeah, they need to get a sweep here. I mean, I know that's greedy, but you hear him say this a team that's different on the road and blah 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 blah. Look, this would be a great opportunity to sweep. I mean, that would put you right back where you need to be. Obviously, that's an idiotic thing to say into a microphone because you want to win a series, especially the way we've been playing. Is it 3 of the last 4 series? Is that right? Is that the number? It's all starting to run together here. I mean, yeah. Brian, go ahead and say what you're saying into your microphone.
I'll gladly take 2 out of 3, and yeah, they've lost 3 out of the last 4. So when you're on a skid like that, 2 out of 3 definitely would be welcome.
Yeah, you're playing a team. It'll be mystifying if they let these guys win a series.
And that being said, I want to win Friday and Saturday, and sort of Sunday just kind of be relaxed and say, okay, well, we go for a sweep, but if they don't get it, it ain't the end of the world.
By the way, one other topic I want to introduce. The On3 folks have Tennessee where, Brian, that top 25?
I saw I've seen them ranked 12th. I've seen them ranked, I think, 9th. I saw one Tony projection has them as the number 4 overall seed. They're sort of all over the map.
I'm going to football now. That On3 projection post.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for a little show topic here. They got Tennessee where?
I must apologize. I only saw the one you had. They were 21st in that poll you had out. That's the only one I've seen. So.
That's the one. 21.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt, what do you think of that? Minus a quarterback, 21. Is that pandery from the On3 people, or do you think that's ground in reality? How does that ring to you at this point?
That's probably fair. You could argue it either way. It's just so hard to rank teams now with the roster turnover. But that's probably fair because obviously you lost a very talented quarterback, but on the flip side, he didn't do a whole lot for you last year. So that's probably about right.
I looked it up, and I guess when you put those numbers next to these teams, you're saying this is where you're going to finish. I mean, I think that's a fair expectation. Not, this is the start of the season. We're ranking you based on what we think you're. Like they've got Texas 1. People think Texas is, I guess, one of the picks to click and win the whole thing this year. A 21 ranking, somewhere between 21 and 25. I looked it up. Connotes you're going to have a 9-3 season. Now, I said today in the blog, I'll say it on the air, if Josh Heupel has a 9-3 season with everything that swirled around here in the offseason, that's Coach of the Year stuff in my book. 9-3 would be a great year for this football team. Losing your quarterback in the spring, Brian, would you take 9-3 right now if I told you it's how it played out?
Yeah, I'd take that. I'd be glad to finish somewhere around 21 where they got him right now.
How about you,
Matt?
Matt?
They finished that way.
Yeah, I agree with Brian. How about you, Matt? 9-3 would be a great year for everything that's happened here.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd take that right now.
You'd be a playoff contender if they went 9-3.
It looks like this safety is going to walk out the door because he's now in the portal, and the agitation of that last week. I reported on here last week the guys wanting fair market value for a starter, and Tennessee's not. It's kind of like in the Rick Barnes thing with the kid from UConn. The kid said, "Am I going to start?" And Tennessee's doesn't want to pay the kid starter money because they don't know that he's going to start. So I think they're willing to gamble on Beasley or gamble on the other kid. And what do you think of that, Matt? They must really, really like the 2 guys behind him. That's what they're telling us here by letting him walk out the door. And Edris Farouk. You have a thought, Matt? Either Beasley or Farouk.
I hope Farouk does the Nation of Domination fist up every time he has a tackle for loss or big hit. You're kind of banking on returning and developing guys, which we've kind of talked about.
That's good.
about development in our secondary, especially the safeties. But I thought Thomas was a really nice player, and it seemed like Tennessee was his dream school. So it's kind of odd that he's kind of chasing a bag after the spring. But that's what the sport is now.
Yep. As I wrote today, and I'll say it here. Look, he is a would be starter at safety, but he's in the portal. And people I talk to tell me that if and when he really hit the portal, he's gone. That's the belief internally. And so the belief internally is that he's gone. So now you've lost starting safety, a quarterback. This has been a nightmarish spring. Not for Jake Merklinger, though. He's gotten not one, but 2 raises in 2.5 weeks. That's good work if you can get it. Tennessee cannot afford to walk into the season with George McIntyre as their backup quarterback. They had to pay Merklinger. Now, I don't think they paid him like crazy money, but they were forced to make a decision, and because they went to him, as I said, he was making next to nothing compared to a lot of these guys. And when they told Nico no, they went to him and said, hey, we're giving you a raise. He didn't know what was going on when they told him that. And he was like, sure, okay, yeah. It's kind of like the Tennessee situation. I know that when the Carr kid walked out the door in December, they immediately went to 2 of the players on the team and said, here's the money Carr was making. We're going to split it between you 2 guys. And that was a good faith thing from them, and that's what you have to do now, like Matt was saying. So now you're in a spot where this is a dream, quote unquote, I played at MTSU. I got on a big stage. It was a dream of mine to play at Tennessee. I experienced my dream. I want to get paid. I don't know what to tell you.
So is he a VFL? We're back to that again.
No, he's a VF. He's like a VFM. They ought to have that's what they ought to do. They ought to have these Vol for a Moment guys. They ought to bring them back and have their own reunion. Vol for a Moment. I don't know where you'd host that. But you ought to have the VFLs in one room and the VFMs in another. I mean, the VFMs matter. He was part of their successful year last year, Matt. I thought that kid had a pretty good year myself. Obviously, the guy that you got, the McCoy kid, was unbelievable. But the kid from Temple was okay. And Jacoby Thomas was okay last year. He's a pretty good player. I'm surprised they're letting him walk out the door, quite honestly.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of in line to potentially start, but he was definitely going to play a bunch of snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that he's leaving. It's, who knows if anything is going on behind the scenes or if he just wants a reset. I mean, you never know. I mean, he could have been asked to leave, I guess. That's possible.
No, I don't think so.
It's just a weird deal. Weird.
It's been a weird spring. Are you worried, Matt? Because that's one of the things I'm going to ask today. Now that we're up for air here and we're guestless for the rest of the time, are you worried about what's going on around the football program? Does all this stuff worry you?
Yeah, I mean a little bit. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think losing Nico's a big deal. Whether or not he ever was going to live up to the potential or not, it was kind of a 3-year project with him, and this was the 3rd year of it. So you would hope to have benefited from that some more. But to be honest, I'm to the point now because I never really followed regular recruiting that closely, and with all the turnover, I just want to see what the roster is at the end of fall camp, and then we'll kind of go from there. Poor Phil still had to rewrite everything about Tennessee and UCLA in his book. Hopefully that hadn't already gone to the press yet.
Oh, can you imagine, too? It's like, there's a term I want to use, but that poor guy, I'll bet his head is spinning. And people like him, that like everything to kind of be in its place and, and if that's you, if you're one of those people, college football is going to drive you nuts.
The other thing about college football, and I'm just going to say this out loud, is it's a game of perception. And if you're a fellow Southeastern Conference fan, and Bino's not going to like this, but I love Bino. He's my guy. We're not going to agree on everything. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not. But I will express my opinion. It's a game of perception. It always has been. What, if you're a fellow SEC fan, would be your perception of us right now? What would it be? We just let a starting Southeastern Conference quarterback walk out the door. In the spring, and now we just let a guy that looks like he's starting cornerback safety walk out the door.
It's going to be their school tomorrow. It's here today. It'll be them tomorrow.
It's no doubt about that.
Or next year.
But what would, if that was happening at Florida, what would we be saying on the air? Kind of reminds me of when Florida lost that quarterback and then that kid came out and said, well, they defaulted on the payment. I wanted to believe that. I don't know whether that was true or not. That kid might have a crazy family too. But he played for an opposition school. I want to believe the worst about you when you're at an opposition school. I want to believe the worst about you. Don't I? Don't I? Like when Nico and his family in Chris Lowe's article say, well, Tennessee didn't pay the guy. And it's a perception. Like Matt's right about that. This is like kind of I hadn't even thought about it before Matt said it. The other thing, Matt, you said the other day with, and I want to get into this as well. I meant to say something about this in the blog, but I want you to elaborate on this. The quarterbacks that we're seeing that are coming out of the funnel for NFL football, this game anymore, and I'm not worried about developing players for the NFL. They should fund their own spring league and develop their own players, personally. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Redbird Capital should not be doing it for them. They should have their own spring league. They've got enough money to develop their own players at their own pace. But Matt, you brought up something about on Sunday's post-game show right at the very end with Will Heflin. You brought up a point about quarterbacks, and I don't know how you put it, but go ahead, get into that a little bit, because it goes with the Thompson guy at Auburn. You were talking about this.
Yeah, about how pitchers and catchers just don't call their own pitches anymore. And I think that hurts some pitchers' development into becoming, from just throwers into pitchers. And I think the same is true with quarterbacks who were in this era now where they have to look to the sidelines for every play, for every audible. They're not the ones watching the defense. It's the coaches, and they tell the players what to do. The players probably have a good understanding of what the play call is, but they don't understand why they're running that play. They don't understand what the defense is doing and why the coaches changed into that play. And I just think that really hurts development of players because you don't have a great understanding of the game. And I think it goes hand in hand with this kind of era where there's just so much, average at best quarterback play, and especially in the NFL game.
So we can talk about that. We can talk about, are you worried about Tennessee football? We can talk about, because I'm concerned with the spring they've had. I just say it out loud because you're negative. No, I'm not. I'm concerned about the spring they've had. And I want to be more active in the transfer portal. When I see that Georgia signs 9 players and you've signed 3, they have a better roster than you do. Shouldn't be signing 3 players out of the transfer portal. You should be going and getting your fair share. That's what the sport is. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. And then if you're going to lose a safety on top of that could play for you, what are we doing? But that's me. The other side of this is that Matt was talking about globally in that sport. Is he right? When they talk, I said, we're going to put a pin in that and talk about it on Tuesday. What do you think? I remember the Big 12 teams, Matt, were the first to do this. The quarterback would go to the line in those new offenses, and they would stand there and they would look over at the sideline. And back then, before they had the stuff in the earpiece where they talked to them, they were all holding up all these signs, and somewhere in there was the real sign. But the quarterback, he's not there to diagnose what's going on like they once did. I'd give you the call. Somebody would bring the call in, and then you would go to the line and you would go through your progressions and you would look at it, and that's where the ball's going. Jerry Meyer calls this era of college basketball, he calls these coaches joystick coaches. Jerry's father was just a legendary coach in his day at Lipscomb. And Jerry would look at this era, and he might be right. Because, Matt, that's kind of what you're talking about. They joystick coach these quarterbacks now. Whereas they might as well just control them. You think about playing a video game. That's sort of what you're talking about, isn't it? And then we'll go to the phones.
Yeah. But I just think at some point you bog down your own team and your own players by overloading them with information instead of letting them kind of play or do things naturally. If they can pick up things on their own and read the defense on their own, it makes them so much better players.
Back to the phones we go. Maybe that's why you just don't see instinctive play like you once did. Or maybe we're all wet here. Your thoughts on it at 865-200-5402. Plus the home stadium at Lindsey Nelson, it just doesn't feel the same like it once did. Is it the fact that they buried the students in the corner in their cattle chute? Because it doesn't feel the same. Let's go back to the phones. And then, are you worried about the spring we've had? So several topics up for grabs, and if you want to go off the board, feel free. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Jake from Memphis. How you doing, man?
Hey, Jake. Great to hear your voice.
Great to speak with you too, buddy. I'm love the topics. I want to bounce around a few if I can.
Go for it, man. Always good to hear from you. Always good to hear from you. Yes, sir.
The baseball series this past weekend, even though Game 3 was kind of uneventful, not really exciting, definitely ended poorly for us. I found myself a few times over the weekend just saying how thankful I am to have college baseball in my life now. Like it got so intense in certain moments, so much just you could feel on the line for the teams, and especially that crowd was awesome. I'm really hoping we can get back to that in our home crowd, but excited to be home this weekend. But man, just 4 years ago, that loss on Friday night felt, and I get it's just one loss in a season of a lot of games for baseball, but I wanted that one so bad. I wanted that series so bad, and man, that loss hurt. And I was just kind of thankful for the pain, if that makes sense. I mean, it hurt really in the moment, but at the same time, I was just so grateful that, man, we're in the top of college baseball, and playing in a series like that was just so much fun. And I'm excited to have that for years to come. And I know we've had that for a while now, but again, just want to say that I'm grateful that we're now part of something like that where, yeah, that sucked Friday night. It hurt really hard, but I was just sitting in the pain, being thankful for it. And I had one baseball question, if I could, for Matt. And I mean, you, Matt, Tony, Brian, y'all forgotten more baseball than I could ever hope to achieve, just because I'm so recent into this sport, but I've really fallen in love with it. I've been seeing a lot in the MLB about this catcher stance. I don't know if y'all been following that, how catchers are now on one knee more than ever, apparently, and it's, I guess, in an effort to help frame strikes, and they think the analytics support that. But I've also seen that it could help hinder catchers from throwing guys out. Matt, do you think that's? I mean, I've noticed our catchers doing that a lot as well. Do you think that's affecting the catcher's ability in these games? Because obviously a lot of teams have been running on us.
Maybe a little bit, but I think the bigger issue with the stolen bases is the pitchers just have really long deliveries to the plate, and runners are getting such a great jump and head start that the catcher has almost no chance of throwing them out most of the time, especially against Marcus Phillips. A high leg kick, kind of a windy delivery. So it's a lot of truth into what you're saying, and I think that is an issue today, but a lot of teams don't steal bases either. So focusing on framing strikes is worth it in the long run. But from Tennessee's perspective, it's more on the pitcher.
Gotcha. And I know we saw that a lot with Kentucky, especially. Is that something that we have to be mindful of and watch out? Is it Auburn? Are they a team that does that, steals a lot of bases?
Yeah, I think they've stolen 46 on the season. And that was the one thing I was really surprised LSU didn't try that more often. I think they only stole one base in 3 games, which was I'm just stunned they didn't at least attempt more, even though they're not a real base running team. But I think Auburn will test them a little bit more with a few of their guys.
And I'm a little surprised. I don't know if you are too, Matt, that I thought we'd be seeing a lot more of Jay this year, especially on the bases, stealing bases. I for one, don't feel like I've seen him much at all, really.
I agree with that. He has not been, as we say, runnerish like I thought he would have been. I agree with that. Great observation, man.
Well, it's just, again, I love it. I'm fully obsessed with Tennessee baseball. I don't really have an MLB team to follow, but I'm just excited for every game, man, especially in the SEC. It's just so much fun. But one quick NFL question on the way out, Tony. And I apologize if you talked about it yesterday. I hadn't had a chance to listen to you yesterday, but how do you project or feel about Titans taking Cam Ward at number 1? You think that's a good pick? You think it's something they're going to kind of hang their hat on for a while? We can kind of challenge the Colts and the Jags in the division?
I think that was a swing they had to make. I think that he's the best quarterback in this class. I will tell you, I think Jackson Dart's going to have a nice career. I think the Giants might have found somebody there. We'll see what happens. It's so difficult to project from college to the pros who that guy is going to be. It's so hard. And if you look at it, we were talking yesterday, literally half the teams in that league would tell you they're unhappy with their quarterback play. Maybe even more than half. It is so difficult to find that guy. Hey, Cam Ward's a great story, and he has all the skills and the intangibles to be able to do it at that level. So it's a pick I would have made. And I'd have done what Brian Hartman's guys did it too. If Cleveland did not value that Hunter guy, who is an absolute unicorn, Cleveland needs players like him. They need impact players. But they're too cool by half, because what they're banking on is that next year's draft is better than this year's draft. But I'm a bird in the hand person. Always a bird in the hand person. You don't know what next year is going to bring. So I think the Titans
Tony,
had a nice draft.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Great talking to y'all today.
Thank you. Jake in Memphis. He's all in on baseball. I agree with him. Saturday night's game, when they kept hitting our shortstop, and I don't know whether they're doing it on purpose or not. Heflin's take on that, Matt, was that this guy is just, they're out of control the way they were. These big guys can't control where the ball's going. But the energy in that stadium Saturday night, and for Tennessee to come back and look like that after that loss Friday, I know what happened Sunday, but I hang my hat on that Saturday night win because they showed a lot of guts winning that game, Matt. A lot of guts.
Yeah. And that was a game that the first, 6 innings or so were kind of a repeat of the night before, where you were really dominating the game, but you weren't getting that clutch hit.
So frustrating.
And you were letting them hang around. And then you were able to grind out some great at-bats. I think Keelan and Fisher were the ones who got the scoring started with 2 just incredible at-bats back-to-back. But no, it was a big-time win, and yeah, you lost the series, but after the game 1, giving that game away, you almost didn't have a chance of winning the series because you weren't going to hold that LSU lineup down 3 games in a row. You did it for 2 games, and that was good enough, and you just got away from you there on Sunday when you had a different pitching plan than they've had for most of the year, and getting Russell a start and basically making it a bullpen game, and it just didn't go your way.
From the very beginning, 865-200-5402. Are you concerned about the spring the football programs had? I am. The home crowd, the home deal, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. What's happened to the pop? If you have a thought on that. And then the other topic we've been talking about, well, there are several of them. We'll continue. It's hour 2 on the radio after this.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls' ECNL is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York, the teams they hosted. Good results, hard teams they played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids as we continue to grow. We're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's FCAllianceKnox.org. Again, FCAllianceKnox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online performancemedicine.net.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. If you listen to the show, you know I'm passionate about people among us that get up every day and make our community better. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Stinnett Collision in Maryville and now Sevierville. For 3 generations and 60 years, Stinnett Collision in Maryville and now Sevierville are making it better. Founded on integrity and customer satisfaction, Stinnett Collision is a family business that for 3 generations has a family tradition of treating customers, well, like family. Simply put, when you trust your vehicle to Stinnett Collision, the job is going to be done right to your satisfaction. A lifetime warranty covers our workmanship. Couple our family ethos with Stinnett Collision's highly trained technicians with a major emphasis on education and industry trends, and you have a winning combination. Stinnett Collision uses the most up-to-date tools and equipment available. Plus, we're OEM certified in most manufacturers, including Tesla and Rivian. Stinnett Collision, celebrating our 60th year of serving East Tennessee. See more of our story at StinnettCollision.com. Thank you, East Tennessee, for trusting us at Stinnett Collision.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Koneixial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
If you're not planning to head to the brand new Covenant Health Park this week to see your Knoxville Smokies in action, what are you waiting for? This week, great promotions every night, including Peanut Free Night, honoring our healthcare workers, one of our favorite, Star Wars Night, and get all dressed up for halfway to Halloween. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Ward Dumpsters, your local and veteran-owned dumpster rental company, has 12 and 15-yard dumpsters for week-long and weekend specials. Spring cleaning, remodeling, or yard cleanup, reach out to Ward Dumpsters today at warddumpsters.com.
T to the B back with you. 865-200-5402. We'll hit the reset button for you here. We've got tons and tons and tons to talk about here, including the fact that it looks like Jacoby Thomas is gone. And Tennessee's weird spring continues. Josh Heupel's very strange, uneven spring continues. Is that a concern of yours? Part 2, Auburn's in town, and Tennessee's got, as Matt wrote today, like a 9-game homestand coming up. In these SEC games, which are so critical, they're all important, but the SEC games, boy, if Tennessee could come out of the next 2 weekends 4-2, they'll set themselves up to do exactly what they need to do. 4-2. If they can get through the next 6 somehow 4-2, we take it. I'd love to be 5-1. But the way this team's playing, I'll take 4-2 all day long. Thirdly, On3 has the football team ranked 21 in the post-spring poll. So that's even taking into account Nico leaving. Matt and Brian, where would On3 have had Tennessee if Nico would have been still the quarterback? Begs the question, doesn't it?
Maybe close to 15.
What do you think, Matt? He's only worth 6 spots in the poll?
Yeah, somewhere 10 to 15. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be worth about a win on your schedule, which, that's what the Vegas line moved. So, yeah, I think somewhere around 10 to 15, probably maybe 12 to 15. I'm not sure that it'd be top 10.
Shout out, by the way, to the Smokies. Tonight is the peanut-free allergy night, so if you're one of those people that can't get to ballparks because the whole peanut experience is such a thing at these ballparks, they literally fumigated their stadium to make it an environment you can go and enjoy tonight. So shout out to them for doing that. And also, I just want to encourage you before the year's over, make sure you get out and see some games there. I'm telling you, I hear nothing but great things about it after their first week. And it is utterly an incredible place to see a ball game. And this week, SEMO's back, Bri.
Yeah. Christian Moore is coming back with is it the Trash Pandas?
Trash Pandas, baby. Have you ever seen a trash panda in your backyard, Bri? We get them all the time here.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, too, here as well. Wonder if we're having trouble with our trash panda population. They're cool. I know they can be rabid if you see them during the daytime. We've seen them at night on our back porch when we used to have it semi-enclosed, I guess you would say. We had everything but a screen up. But we don't have that anymore. But they were out there playing, a whole school of them, one night at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And Laura screamed at the top of her lungs because they startled her. And we all got up, and there was a school of those folks playing in our backyard, swinging back and forth. The mom was out there, several kids. What looked like could have been the dad, I don't know. I don't know what their relationship was. Maybe they were just dating. But there was about 10 of them, and they were having the time of their life, and they were eating our leftover dog food as well. We kind of learned a lesson that night.
Will SEMO still be, how long will he be at AA, do you think?
865-200-5402. Matt, what's your read on SEMO? Guy's a monster.
Yeah, I don't know enough about where the Angels are at with their second base in the big leagues because you're not going to call him up unless he's going to play every day.
Yep.
I think he'll get there at some point this season, though.
He's a hell of a talent, man. You talk about a force on a baseball field, and he oozes. He just oozes it. Whatever it is from this era, you're talking about a guy that oozes it. Let's go back to the phones. I was just going to bring somebody in who left us. Let's get our next call in on your TLD Logistics phone line. Online at tldlogistics.com. Hi, welcome in.
Hey, Tony. It's Holly.
Hey, Holly, welcome in.
How are you guys doing?
Beautiful, blessed day to be here. Thank you. Good to hear your voice.
Great. I was just wanting to put my 2 cents worth in on baseball after all that's been going on the last couple of weeks. I agree with the caller a few calls back, he talked about how thankful we are to have these kind of problems in baseball, that we're that good. And I was thinking this weekend watching the game, the LSU game, they used to not care a thing about playing us. And I mean, they were there, and they were doing everything they could to help their team pull it through, and they wanted to beat us so badly. So that just shows you where we are now in the world of college baseball, which made me happy. And then there have been a lot of people who've been so upset. I mean, I'm concerned. I want them to be better, and we got a lot of work to do in May. But, we're still one of the youngest teams in the top 25. We lost so many people last year after the championship year. I mean, we're still a really, really good team. We've got a lot to do, but it's not like, it's not like we're Missouri or anything. I mean, I think all of us ball fans, we kind of overreact. And, but anyway, my big question and concern is the student section. The times that I've gone to the games this year, I experienced the same thing you did, watching the student section sometimes be full, and then sometimes it would be full only until, halfway through or even less. And it kind of just bugs me. It's kind of in the same, category where, you see all those empty seats on TV. And it's not just at Tennessee, but at the other big schools where I know the big donors get the big tickets and all that, and then the seats are empty. It makes me sick. But more importantly, for the student section, I think I agree with you that somebody really stubbed their toe on coming up with that idea. If they were going to do that bullpen action or whatever, not bullpen, what did you call it?
I call it a cattle chute.
The cattle chute. If they were going to do that, because it's just like, okay, where can we stuff the students? Somebody should have done a marketing campaign and made it fun and made it like, Party Central for the kids. I mean, they're kids. And it is their school, and it is their team. And it just bugs me. I mean, I'm thinking about when I was up there, if somebody had said I'd have to, well, I probably would have because I'm crazy, but most people that, you're on a budget. So if you're standing there and you're drinking $15 beers.
Yup.
Okay. My dad would have been like, you spent $45 on beer tonight watching the game? Okay. And you're going back and you're going to do that 4 games. So that's $180 just on beer. I don't know, unless you are just loaded, I don't know that students can do that over and over again. And the whole point of it is to go and have fun. Baseball, hot dogs, and beer, and watching your team. And why wouldn't you just say, okay, I'm out of here. Let's go to Publix or to Food City or whatever it is in Knoxville.
Go get some beer.
You can get a 6-pack or a 24-pack. Let's go back to Joe Blow's apartment and we can watch it on a big screen TV.
Well, you've seen what I've seen, which is my observation. When Matt brought this up on Sunday, I hadn't even really thought about it. And I've had some other people tell me, in the community. I had somebody say this to me the last time we were at Calhoun's. What's up with our home field atmosphere? And I believe that was before the Kentucky series. Would that be right? I think that's right. And my reply was, what do you mean? But then I got to thinking about what Matt had said the other day. And when you take the students, we're getting ready in a couple weeks for them not to be there. When you take the students away from the equation in any of these places, Holly, you lose what it is that we love about this stuff. The early Tony Valls years, the thing that was remarkable about that is those legends of Lindsay's, those nuts, they stayed around for a couple weeks because they were so close to the field. They were down there to the very end, that first World Series run. Those guys and girls were right on top of the field. They were right behind the plate. or behind Tennessee's dugout, they were getting on everybody, the umpires, the first base coaches. They were so darn fun. And look,
I had fun watching.
Oh, it was so great.
It made me feel young. It made me think,
yes.
Oh, remember when I was in college?
Yes.
Those kids are having so much fun. Good for them. And that's gone this year.
Gone. We are in a corporate stadium now that is corporate to the core, that feels corporate. I hate to say this. That stadium feels sterile now when you walk in there.
It's like...
And you have a great point. There's a lot of money people who have funded this thing, and that's great that they have, but they're not showing up. A lot of those times, it looks like Vanderbilt. A lot of times, those tickets around the bottom bowl are going unused. I mean, it's too bad.
I don't know. You know how at Hoover, I don't know if it's, and maybe I'm not seeing this at Knoxville because I don't get to go to as many games, but, when there's empty seats in the assigned seats, after a while you can move down and just sit in those seats. And if somebody says, oh, hey, that's my seat I got here late, well, it's fine. You just get up and let them have their seat.
Yep.
I don't see that at UT, and I don't really see it at other schools, but I don't really care about other schools. But I'm just thinking, why can't somebody just fill those seats up? Is that not allowed? Because I know they're pretty strict. I mean, we've got the nicest ushers and everybody.
Oh, they're super over there. Yeah, it's
and I
great.
recognize them every game. There's the
very
same
accommodating.
Every time.
Yep, very good people.
But
yes.
Are they not allowed to let people go down to those seats? I mean, I think about, when you watch it on TV, you look behind home plate. There's always about 3 rows up. There's always 2 rows that are almost never filled unless it's just like a number 1 game. And I wonder, why couldn't somebody just fill those seats up? Why couldn't you just say, hey, 10 students, come on over here?
But nobody wants those students sitting around them. That's the other thing. I mean, we have to be honest about that.
I don't think they're all rowdy.
Well, but they are rowdy. I mean, I would like to,
They're going to a college sporting event, don't want students sitting around them?
Well,
what is that? What kind of mentality is that?
Well, I'm just saying, Bri. That's why they herded them out there. Why do you think they herded them out there, Bri?
Let me tell you, when I'm at the games, it thrills me to death. There's some kids that sit in the seats near me that I guess their parents gave them the seats or they bought the tickets.
That's right. That's right.
And I love it. I mean, they're going back and forth and getting beer and this, that, and the other. And I've never had anybody be so obnoxious that I was like, oh, I hate you kids. I mean, that's baseball. And I just don't understand if we're trying to put these kids in a little box. Now, I don't know what you can do about it now because,
nothing.
I mean, I've been thinking about it. I thought, okay, well, what can you do to make this right? And I can't come up with anything.
No, because you've got a sold-out stadium. Matt, do you think it's something they address in the off-season? Because Tony is a highly intelligent, highly emotional, intelligent person. And by the way, this is not something I've talked about with him. So
I don't believe that he's happy about it. I mean, I know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether he is or not. It might have been his idea, for all I know, and he's going to be urinated off at me. But look, that place has kind of lost its pop.
But if that's his idea, it's not working.
No, it's not working.
I know he's got bigger fish to fry than the student section probably, but he has said over and over in interviews how important the Vol fans are and that they're part of the victories, and he's right and all. And he's not getting the same oomph this year from everybody as he has in the past. It looks like to me, the times I've been there. And he has, he's commented on it, even the fact that, he hears negativity up in the stand. And, we're crazy fans, so I know we've got crazy people that want to cheer. So something's off there. And, I really do. I think it's the student, separating the students like you said, they're in a cow pen waiting to go to slaughter. I mean, that's just, I watched that section when I'm there every time I go to a game. And I'm just like, what in the heck is going on over there?
Because they are so far. I mean, they are so far away from the action. I don't know how they could impact the game there. Hey, Matt, is that because you've been around some of these parks? Is that as far away as the students are at any of these stadiums, or is that pretty much the way it's done at other parks as well? That they're that far from the action, Matt?
A lot of programs have put their students in the outfield.
Yes.
Tennessee doesn't have, besides the porches, there's no room to put, bleachers in the outfield. So they throw them as far down the line as possible. But there's that big area underneath where some of their batting cages are. So you're really not on top of the field anyway. Whereas even like at LSU the other night, the students can be right on top of the right fielder. And I think they even threw a ball on the field Friday night.
They did, which altered the game. I mean, not that I'm advocating that, but they altered the game.
I do think Tennessee students are about as far removed from being able to impact the game as any other program that's trying to win.
That's a shame.
Well, when I went
shame.
to the University of Florida to a Tennessee game, that's a relatively new stadium, and it's not big. It's not one of the mega ones like Mississippi State, but they have those berms. It's kind of like where they have at Hoover. They have those big hills of grass.
Yeah.
And if you and they have a big time. There are a lot of folks that's what they want to do. They want to get on the grass and drink beer and watch. But I walked over to, as far as I could get, over to the student section before the game. The last time I was in Knoxville, I just like to look around and, experience everything. And I look down, and all they're looking over is the green grass. There's a big pole and the bullpen. That's all they can see, except, you can turn and you can see, but you're way
out there.
Out.
Oh, they're way out there. I mean,
but I wish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those seats are standing room only. They basically have the kids in what we would call, when the run happened, those standing room only seats, and they call it, And the other problem is, and I've had people tell me this, they don't have a place to put their drinks. They don't have a place to put food if they have it. They're herded one on top of the other. And if you look at the deal, as the games expire, that thing thins out, and there's a couple kids left at the end. And you need those kids there. You need them there. It's a part of this thing.
On top of that, before they even get into the stadium, okay, they've got the point system, where the kids you get points and then you move up to be eligible to get a ticket at basketball and baseball, football, all of those. So if you just love baseball and you're not into the others, you're probably not even going to get a ticket. You're going to have to, you have to attend. I have a family member that's up there in school, and she was so excited she finally get a ticket. I think it was to a basketball game. And she had to, do the point system. And she went to some volleyball games that she didn't care anything about.
Just to get her card swiped. Yeah.
To get her points up so that she could qualify for a ticket at the other things. And I'm like, why bother? At some point, and now we have, every game is televised. I just think it's sad, and I know I'm an old ball, but
you're right.
It doesn't feel right.
No, you're right, and they've made that thing way too corporate. The magic of it, the first couple of seasons, was that there was magic there. And look, I like a little. I like some marketing, and you got to make some money, and I'm for all that stuff. But you can't take your students and marginalize them. And Matt Dixon, who knows, says they're as far away from the field as anybody that wants to take this thing seriously as anybody. That defeats the purpose. This is called college sports. And college kids have to be in the middle of college sports. They have to be. They have to be a part of it.
They've got to come up with something. If the cattle pen is the only place, they've got to do something special and important for those kids, because they are students. And I don't know if it.
All the beer you can drink, you can't do that, because that puts you to
laws,
liability, right?
But you can certainly do the food. I mean, the food is great.
I agree with that. All the free food, they ought to give those kids vouchers. You can eat as much as you want.
Vouchers.
I agree with
call
that.
the area
Danny White.
Special name.
I agree with that. The cattle shoot.
Get a marketing campaign
Put
going.
King Jim's face on it. The cattle shoot.
Hell, everybody loves a T-shirt. And, get it going and make it something special because it feels like, oh, God, we got to have the student section. We got to relegate them because they're not making any money.
You know what they ought to call them? Hey, Holly, they ought to give them T-shirts, call them the Lepers of Lindsay. Because they have them out there like a bunch of lepers. They're a bunch of lepers. Thank you, Holly. Good talking to you. She's right. She says, well, I'm being an all... You're not? No, you're not. No. When I'm in a game, and I'm watching those kids leave, I'm going, in the 8th and 9th inning, that's when we need you there. We need you to put some pressure on somebody.
Go once and never come back because of that.
Well, that's a good point. Hey, Matt, the other night, did they not throw that baseball on the field in that 9th inning? What inning was that when the baseball got on the field?
The bottom of the 9th.
That's what I thought.
When they came back from a break,
That's what I thought. That is pretty much what started it all. I'm not going to say that was a part of what happened, but you can't say it wasn't. You can't say that. Tony, are you advocating students throwing things on the field? No. But I'll tell you this. Jordan Beck, who had a hose out in right field, would have trouble throwing a ball on the field from the cattle chute. I mean, they're a mile away from the field. And I'm not advocating
I don't even think they
throwing
can
a
see
ball on
home
the field.
plate very well, can they?
No, I'm not. I'm not advocating, by the way, throwing a ball on the field. I'm not. But that weird energy when you came back from the plate and they had that controversy where that ball was loose in the outfield. Matt, did they throw that thing at one of our players, or did it just slip onto the field? What was the belief?
I think it was intentionally thrown on the field. I don't know if it was intentionally thrown to try to hit a player or just to stop the game and throw timing off. But it certainly was thrown on the field for a reason.
865-200-5402 if you want to get in the hunting in the mix with us. It's extremely interesting. Let's get our next call in. Lindsey Nelson doesn't have the pop, and maybe winning a national championship just took the edge off everybody. I don't know. That could be too. That's certainly a thing. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Sorry, let me get you off speakerphone. Shout out to Titans-Bill there. Tony, I heard a couple questions. This is Josh from beautiful Piney Flats. But, I heard Bino say last week something about, Jordan Gainey and Zakai coming back. Are those the only two? Is Meshack, is he gone?
Yeah, Meshack's gone. Gainey and Lanier or Gainey and ZZ are two possibilities, and and we'll see what happens. I think Tennessee is encouraged by what happened up in that court in New Jersey last week with the Rutgers football player, and I think if they were to follow suit and seek an injunction, I think they feel like they could get there with that. So
okay. Awesome. And also, shout out to Sammy and the Ridge. I heard his call yesterday, and I totally agree. And great conversation about the student section. Which team was that allows the beer being brought in the outfield? Was that Ole Miss? That we've seen the students in the outfield?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because what they do is, when a home run's hit, they throw beer all over each other. That was kind of their I don't know what you'd say, their trademark, but that's what they do, yeah.
that'd be awesome if we could get something like that, instead of, like Holly said, who can afford $18, $15 a beer? So, but anyways, I appreciate it, guys. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the basketball roster remains very much under repair. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, it's Rusty.
Hey, man, welcome in.
Thanks, brother. I agree with everything you're saying about the stadium. It does not feel the same. I know the Gilbert walk-off home run was a moment that caused pandemonium, but do you remember all the students falling through the net, or the day Evan Russell hit the 3 against Vandy and he hit the one in the 7th that put Tennessee ahead when we were just starting to rise up? And you saw there was the one dude in the Eagles jersey for whatever random reason in the middle of the legends, and they're coming through the nets on top of the dugout, and
it
the
was
scene is
unbelievable.
Just epic.
We interviewed that guy,
and it's
after that, Rusty, and he's from the Philly area, okay? And if he's listening, I love him, and I mean this in the most endearing way. He was a straight moron on here, which I loved every minute of him.
Go Birds. Hey, we're all morons. All of us that wear our Kelly green are morons.
Yeah, and he was a straight moron. He did not disappoint me. He was a straight ignoramus. But you're right about that. I remember when they won. We were over there the night I think it was the night they beat LSU, and Tony did a tumble into those kids. Do you guys remember that? Tony jumped the stands and tumbled into those kids. He went through that screen. Unless I'm misremembering that. If he was if he was to do that now, they'd have to shoot him out of a cannon to get up there.
Or he'd have to jump on Mr. and Mrs. right behind home plate that don't miss a ball game anywhere. Wouldn't you love to see him jump into their arms?
Oh, I'm telling you, they're creating some atmosphere.
Oh, it's electric watching them. Did anybody tell them the game started? Nevertheless, one way to get this fixed is the next time you have Tony V on, I think you're going to have to ask him about can he hear the students even from his vantage point, and would he like to be able to hear them? Because he can get things done. When you got all the clout that he does, he can make miracles happen.
It might urinate him off. I'm sure he cares about it, but it might urinate him off. It might have been his idea for all I know.
I know, but it's at least worth the question. Maybe, I don't know. I would throw it at him if I was you. But hey, it's your show. My bad. No,
Matt. Do you think that Tony would get his feathers ruffled if I brought that up to him?
No, I think he would probably agree with it. Maybe. He would put it on them that they're not creating it by their play.
That's right.
It would be interesting to hear his answer to that. And from your perspective, it would be really interesting to hear his off-air answer to that.
Well, that's right. Because I haven't even – Matt said it the other day. I said, you know what? We're going to talk about this when Matt's in here. And I mentioned it yesterday on the air that we were going to talk about it. And the fact is, Rusty, something is missing this year. In an era where more and more people are going. Back then, it was like half of the people that are in the stadium now, and it's a lot more quiet because we've taken the crazies.
The stadium's also, you're right, but it's also still under construction. Maybe I should hold my judgment until it's finished because I've thought all the same type of stuff that you guys are saying. But maybe I should hold off until they get all the renovations done, and maybe it'll be different than I'm not saying it will. I'm saying maybe I'm jumping the gun too soon. But
you're right.
How about with the porches? They got the 3 decks.
Yep.
Make the lower deck a little bigger. Redo those things. Make them not look like it's an erector set or Lincoln Logs like it does now.
Yep.
Build some real porches out there, and do the first level of the porches the student section.
That would be
make it
unbelievable if they did that.
Unbelievable. And the two above it are tiered well above it to where the students that are all standing the whole time and going nuts, you're not obstructing the view of the other people around them that want to watch, that don't want to be standing the whole time and going crazy. You can still have them out there, because that's why the others don't want students around. It's not because the students are like jerks or mean. I mean, some of them are, but they really don't want them around because the students are standing and jumping and going nuts all the time.
Right.
And sometimes you want to be able to sit down and chill. That's
enjoy
really
the ball game. That's right. You want to go to a ball game to enjoy the game, and I get that.
Right, and have a hot dog and a beer.
It's a good idea.
And, take a nap on your wife's shoulder, whatever.
Hey, Rusty, what do you think? What do you think one porch out there costs in the outfield? Take a guess at it. This year.
One small little porch.
For the year.
For every game.
Yeah.
10.
30 grand.
30. Okay.
Yeah. So do the math across the bottom. What are the chances they give those kids the porches on the bottom there?
Well, just redo them and keep just as many porches above and put students in the low one. That you could keep all the same amount of porches if you rebuilt them and made them a little bit more to where they don't look like metal bleachers or the bleachers at my Little League field in Irwin, Tennessee, that were, shiny metal. That's what those things look like right now.
Those things get hot in the summer. I mean, when it cooks,
you can't touch them, I'm sure. If you touch them, it's like touching a metal doorknob when 95-degree sun's on them.
It is a great atmosphere out there, but you're right. It could be augmented. If you took some students, say you took, 10 of those porches like Rusty's saying, and you just took 10 of them, and you said, okay, you guys get these, go at it, have fun, do your thing. Oh, my gosh, man. You talk about something that would augment the atmosphere. Yeah, it's $300K.
That's $300K. Ask Tony to give up $300K of his salary for the students.
There you go. Come on, Tony. Come on, Tony Balls.
Tony, listen to us, buddy. We're trying to do this for you.
Love
you, buddy.
Thank you. 865-200-5402. Matt, what are the chances they would peel off 10 porches next year for those kids? What's your percentage chance of that, Matt?
0.
See, we're finding solutions here on the air. But
if you redo them, that's certainly not going to make it more accessible to students and regular fans. That'll just jack
Aren't
up the
they going
price
to do
of them
something
more.
in the right field with that, though? Maybe put some porches out in the right field?
Bri, there's no room out there. The road's
there's
right
nowhere
there.
to go.
There's no.
They've got the bullpen out there.
What they need to do is just give into this whole sports theme and just close that road back behind there, and just build the thing out. I'm kidding, but I don't know if people. I'll get some real hate mail on that as we continue with more after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent.
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Tonight, we're kicking off our homestand. It's Lance Reinl, your manager with your Knoxville Smokies. Join us tonight and all week for fun promotions and great baseball every night. Go Smokes.
Ward Dumpsters, your local and veteran-owned dumpster rental company, has 12 and 15-yard dumpsters for week-long and weekend specials. Spring cleaning, remodeling, or yard cleanup, reach out to Ward Dumpsters today at warddumpsters.com.
Portions of your TV show presented by Stinnett Collision, Maryville and now in Sevierville. For 3 generations and 60 years, serving you online at StinnettCollision.com. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. We're not going to do any TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime. All lines are available if you want to get in now. On a day where we watched Jacoby Thomas, who's now involved with Florida and Miami,
Will Tennessee's would-be, could-be, I don't know, should-be starting safety, is he going to end up at Florida where he plays for them? If he ends up at Florida, he won't be able to play this year. So it's curious.
You mean Florida State? Florida State?
Florida's on his...
Why?
Florida and Miami are two places he's supposed to visit, Matt.
I thought they said Florida State.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is Florida State.
I think it was Florida State.
Yeah, because he can't
FSU
play.
and Miami.
He can't transfer in the league at this time.
I stopped myself there. This stuff drives me nuts. And somebody's puppy dog as well, which I love. I got time for dogs. UT quarterback Jake Merklinger, another thing, gets a new deal. He already had a new deal, but he gets a new deal. So he's like a new dealer. Alberto Ozuna, we had a caller in our last set that was asking about Gainey and Ziegler. The decision last week in the New Jersey Court of Appeals. Tennessee Baseball's caused celeb senior Alberto Ozuna looking to gain his immediate eligibility. A Knoxville judge ruled that comparing college football and college baseball is apples to oranges. Monetarily speaking, will Ozuna find relief this time? I have no idea. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it didn't wash the last time, why it would wash now. I don't know. But why not get in the batter's box and take another swing at it in light of that ruling?
He could be the answer at the hot corner.
And Matt, Ozuna.
Just half joking. Man.
Well, hey,
Maybe first base.
Ozuna did feel like, Matt, like an add-on several weeks back. He feels like he could really help this baseball team right now the way they've been going. It's amazing what 5 or 6 weeks will do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was just saying that jokingly.
I know that.
He'd be a first base DH only.
Sure.
But again, I think you kind of found a little something with Fisher playing first.
Really nice
He's kind of the one spot on your infield that's been consistent all year. I mean, you had good D at second with whoever's there, but I think Fisher's – I wouldn't take him off of first, but if you can get Ozuna, it's at least another bat you could potentially use.
Well, here's the thing. Has he been doing any kind of batting practice? I don't know that he'd be.
Sure he has.
Sure
he has, Brian.
He warms up before every game.
Sure he has.
He's a part of the – he's basically at like a red shirt year, which really sucks for him. But
really sucks.
Yeah, he's still a part of the team, takes infield every game. Yeah, he's still there, Brian.
Hey, Matt, are you surprised that Mississippi State pulled the plug on Lemonis as early as they did, a guy that won a World Championship for him back in 2021? I mean, they just blasted him now. They did the inevitable immediately.
Yeah, a little bit, but on the flip side of that, with how prevalent the portal is, you want to hire the next coach as soon as possible, so they're just getting a jump start on that, and they can put some feelers out and then also see what feelers come their way through back channels.
Yep.
Because you want to have a hire really about as soon as the season's over and they're done in Hoover, because I think they're going to wind up missing the field. You kind of want to have a hire so you can start attacking the portal. So I can see that being. I think it's bad for the sport to fire a guy right at this point when the team's still battling and you got a few series left. But that's a really proud program. But I mean, won a national title and then they just kind of fell off a cliff and have never really recovered.
Before we go back to our phones and we'll sneak another call in, my friends at VIP Play want to remind you it is time to get fired up, focused, and prepared for the VIP Play experience and the VIP guarantee. The difference between when you sports gamble over at VIP Play and other apps is simply that. It's a different experience. It's the VIP Play experience and the VIP guarantee. You'll be hearing more about that in the coming days and weeks here. But my friends at VIP Play want to remind you that in early May, you'll be able to bet on over 200 leagues, all your favorite types of bets. Look, you've heard of Live Now. but you have not yet experienced Live Always, which you will, over at VIP Play, coming soon to Tennessee exclusively. Learn more, claim your early welcome bonus or your VIP Players Club status. Head over to VIPPlayApp.com. VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem 800-889-9789. 21 and over in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. We go back to our phones and get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hello, guys. It's the Polish one.
Hey, Paulie, I got 2 minutes because I got to get to an appointment, so hit it.
Oh, man. I'll have to call back then.
Okay, I love you. Sorry. You know, I try, man. I try. You know, I tried and tried. I got to get to an appointment, though. And I'm having a medical procedure on Monday I'm really excited about, but so this is my stay well couple of weeks here that we all have to go through, you know, to kind of stay in the game, as it were. But Matt, what kind of an opponent is in town tonight, in your humble opinion?
That Northern Kentucky team that came here for the regional last year. You know, they have the one seed coach name was Dizzy Payton. If you remember, we had him on the show.
He's the best.
Yeah. So his team's coming back in here. It was the first ever tournament appearance. And they hit a leadoff home run to take the lead there against Tennessee, which was kind of good for them because it was all downhill from there. But should be another fun night. Hopefully Tennessee can string some runs together early and then kind of empty out the bench and get some guys some rest. I think it would be really good. You know, we've talked all show about how fans haven't, you know, affecting the atmosphere in games like that. It'd be really nice if Dean Curley got a really big ovation for his first at bat tonight. If he's in the lineup, I think that would be a nice, maybe something to help keep him going, get him maybe give him some confidence back.
Let's do it. Dean Curley tonight when he comes to the plate, and Matt will have the full game report at tclub.team. We'll have a full basketball download at tclub.team in the AM. In the meantime, I love you. I appreciate you. Polsky, Joski, all regards. We love you. We appreciate you. Peace. Have a great day. We'll run the show back on the app. Love you. Have a great day. God bless. Oh, I got to play illegal. That's right. I got to play illegal, man.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
For any of you that missed the brilliance today, we're going to run it back. And if you heard it but you want to hear it again, it's called Being Under Wings, where I come from. Being Under Wings.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
To you I say let's go as we welcome you to the Tuesday edition. Tony Basilio, Brian Hartman's in the house, TGMD on a Tuesday. The great Matt Dixon, who came, saw, and conquered over at tclub.team today. Hey, Matt, we're getting ready to preview on the other side the Auburn series, which is now huge. Was Auburn being ranked ahead of the Vols, Matt, on your Singo card? And do you find the ranking to be just based on what we've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. I think